ॐ वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य आणीस्तः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासि अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ। ॐ May my speech be accorded with the mind. May my mind be accorded with the speech. O self-effulgent one Brahman, reveal thyself to me. May you both speech and mind be the carriers of the highest truth to me. May not all that I have heard depart from me. May I be able to join day and night through this study. I shall utter what is verbally true. I shall utter what is mentally true. May that Brahman protect me. May that Brahman protect the teacher. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace. Peace be unto you all. Good morning. I hope that door is closed.
Which door?
The entrance from the courtyard. Please close the door. Entrance from the courtyard. This morning I am going to speak on a very important subject of spiritual life. The obstacle to meditation and how to overcome it. We know that meditation is very important aspect in our life. Now it is known to everybody that in various ways meditation helps us. Whether that is spiritual meditation or secular meditation to control stresses, anxiety, worries, etc. Whatever may be the whether that is the meditation or concentration, because there are differences between the meditation and concentration. So we know that concentration and meditation both are important in our life, and this particular subject that I am going to speak before you has importance in both the areas, in the concentration and in the meditation. So whatever may be the our suffering or the problem or afflictions, in Indian scripture all the human afflictions are grouped in three divisions. One is called Adi Daivika. It is a kind of, living beings' difficulties, by natural calamities. It is called some divine ordained or some unknown cause. It is called Daivika. Daivika means divine, but unknown cause. That is natural calamities, certain accident. So those are, we do not ready for that. Anytime it may happen. The train accident. These are the afflictions. Anytime it may happen, nobody knows when and where. So these are called, even starting from flat tire. So all these are called Adi Daiviko, unknown, unforeseen situation, So this is one kind of afflictions we have. The second type of affliction is called Adi Bhautika in Sanskrit. Bhuta means the being, the living being. It may be the insect, it may be the human being. So, affliction comes from either any of the living beings, any kind of the living beings. Either some human being or some insect bites, That is also kind of infliction we suffer. So, that kind of infliction is called Adi Bhautika, Bhuta. From living beings, that problem comes. The third problem is called Adhyatmika, Adhyatmika, psychological problem. We are the cause of our own problems. So this is the psychological problem we have. Always we are thinking somebody is pressurizing me, somebody is attacking me, nobody is in favor of me, always and fighting with me. So that is third kind of affliction. So these are generally broad, wide groups. But Sankhya, one of the 6 philosophical schools of India is Sankhya philosophy, based on which Patanjali Yoga Sutra built up. So, Sankhya is another. He says that there are 3. Actually, he spoke about 100 types of problem. It is not possible here to mention the name of 100 types of problems. But anyway, I shall just refer some of the problems. You can have the idea. And then I shall jump into the main problem of meditation, because nowadays what we call meditation, it is the Patanjali type of meditation. What Patanjali prescribed, that type of meditation we practice now, what we call meditation. Last Sunday, I talked about Upanishadic Upasana, and I referred one Sanskrit name, peculiar name, Aham Graha Upasana, means that is a double meditation. So that is Upanishadic meditation. So there are different types of meditation exist everywhere. So that is the Upanishadic meditation. Now, mainly today I am going to discuss the problems in Patanjali, that Patanjali describes what are the problems in meditation and how to overcome it. But before going to main Patanjali's, the problem referred by Patanjali, I shall just to have your idea to give some kind of outline of problems. I am referring to Sankhya also. Because this Sankhya, he said 100 types of problem, and in broad way, he grouped it in 3, and that is the false knowledge. we have some kind of false knowledge, incapacity. The false knowledge is that these are also 5 types. False knowledge. The ignorance, it is a false knowledge. We have some ignorance. Egoism, I know very well. What I know, nobody knows. So that kind of egoism. So that is also the false knowledge. Comes under the false knowledge. Then, hatred and clinging to life, attraction. So these are the 5 types of ignorance, egoism, attraction, hatred, and clinging to life. So these are the 5 types, and it is quite natural. We all are clinging to life. We have egoism. We have kind of hatred and jealousy, although we say, no, we don't have. We are completely pure heart. But still, human being means this kind of little bit things must be there. So these are the 5 types of false knowledge. Then the second thing is the incapacity. I am not capable because of various reasons. I shall come health problem and other things. I shall come later part. But incapacity. I cannot sit for a long time for concentration. It is not possible for me. So this kind of incapacity is there. So second part is incapacity, and in that case, we have to practice, we have to pray. Prayer has a tremendous impact, although we think that, it is nothing, prayer is false. But whether God can listen to our prayer or not, our own prayer has its own energy. It develops within us. So I have already delivered this talk on prayer, but if situation comes, I shall deliver this talk detail in prayer also. However, this is the second part, that incapacity, we don't have any capacity. And third is the satisfaction. We have over-satisfaction, no, I have some experience, I have some vision. So this is the kind of satisfaction. So let me describe this satisfaction part, because if we have some false knowledge, that is quite natural, and he said about 62 types of false knowledge. Sankhya, out of 100, 62 types of false knowledge. So it is not possible to describe right now what are the false knowledge. But the false knowledge are this, that ignorance, mainly the ignorance, egoism, attraction, hatred, and clinging to life. Then those are subdivided, and again other things. So the incapacities, the natural incapacities of man are said to be 28 types. So these are also difficult to narrate it right now. So the main focus is that physical strength does not necessarily mean mental strength. So spiritual power is somehow quite different from mental power, we know. In order to get the true spiritual experience, one needs spiritual power. And for that, we have to pray for our incapacity. So these are the 3. The third thing is the satisfaction. So one of the satisfaction, false satisfaction, incapacity we can understand. Yes, we are unable, and we express it about our incapacity. But if there is kind of false satisfaction, that is very difficult. So false satisfactions also, the first kind of false satisfaction is this produced by early spiritual progress. When we sit for meditation and practice very sincerely, in the beginning, there is some kind of progress, very fast, some kind of progress. And we satisfied. And we say, okay, I have something, I have some higher level mental activity, and we stop practices. Okay, I have that kind of hold. And we stop practices. It happens to the Swamis. Most of the cases, Swamis are suffering from this kind of illness, or I would say this kind of problems. So this is the first kind of satisfaction. Our main problem is that. The second one, type of satisfaction, may come from certain external changes. It also happens, many Indians, they change their color of their clothes, they painted on their forehead different types of signs, they carry some kind of monk water pot, and they stays with matted hair. So they stays in forest or Himalayas, or sometimes they live in the household also. So they think that rituals, fasting, austerity, these are the main components of spirituality. So this is also obstacle. This is also a kind of satisfaction. I am doing this, so I am a perfect spiritual person. How many times? You see, I fast 3 days in a week. This kind of satisfaction. So this is a false satisfaction. So this is the second type of false satisfaction. The third type of false satisfaction is that some kind of faith in time. Okay, I am practice, but see, when time will come, at that time it will happen. So there is a time. And fate, my fate is not that when that my fate will be favorable, that time I will have this kind of experience. So time, fate, these are also kind of false satisfaction. We satisfy ourselves by saying that, okay, it is not my favorable time. My time is coming. Hope, false hope. So this is also a kind of false satisfaction. So in this regard, there is a story, I shall refer to it. And the Sankhya Karika also warns against the false satisfaction produced by misconceived and premature renunciation of work. Okay, I am spiritual person, so I renounce work. This work is secular kind of thing. So I don't work, I only practice spirituality. So this is a kind of external renunciation, and austerity can create a sense of achievement and the feeling that nothing more is necessary in spiritual life. This is also kind of misunderstanding. I should refer in this context, what is austerity? Generally, we translate tapas, Sanskrit word tapas. Tapa sadhaya ishara pranidhana. It is Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Kriya yoga. There are plenty of Kriya Yoga centers. So from where this Kriya Yoga word came? It came from Patanjali Yoga Sutra. The first verse, it is the Kriya Yoga. The first verse, probably on the second chapter, it is said that tapa swadhyaya ishara pranidhana kriya yoga. What is Kriya Yoga? Kriya Yoga is tapa. Tapa means tapas. Tapas, generally we translate it in English, austerity. I shall explain to what is tapas, what Shankaracharya's definition of tapas. So, tapa, swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means reading of scripture. And Ishvara pranidhana, prapatti, sharanagati, or surrender to God. It is called Ishvara pranidhana in Sanskrit. So, surrender to God. Tapa, austerity. Swadhyaya, study of scriptures. And surrender to God. These three things are called Kriya Yoga. This is called Kriya Yoga. Clear definition of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And what happens? I shall not go to the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So, what happens? Why should we do practice Kriya Yoga? That I am not going to that point. Anyway, the thing is that tapa means, there are three meanings of tapa. The root word, Sanskrit, everything has a root word. English word has a root word. Latin, sometimes Latin word is the root word. So tapa or austerity, what we say, there are three root word. The root word has three meanings. Number one, heat. Tapa means heat. Second is control. And third is one-pointedness. So all these three meanings are applicable in tapas. We generally say austerity. It is not genuine fasting or, giving us suffering a heavy cold and we are not using the woolen garments or warm garment. It is not austerity, This is pain, giving pain to your body. So, but point is that three things. What? Heat, control, and one-pointed. Shankaracharya also said, oikagram. Shankaracharya used the Sanskrit word oikagram. Oikagram means control, one-pointedness. Tapas is the practice by which we can focus our mind to one point, one-pointedness. That is by control. Control is another meaning. By controlling our mind, we make it one point. And if we do it, what happens? We can get some power. Heat. Heat means power. We can get some power. That is the meaning of tapa. Generally, we Sanskrit it austerity. Maybe some austerity gives us little bit help, but the problem is austerity is just like a stoic, stoic people, they were like that, not just like a stoic people, it is called austerity. So the point is that it is not that we do some kind of austerity, tapas, and we renounce the work and we said that we are spiritual. In this context, Sri Ramakrishna gave a beautiful story. Sri Ramakrishna said, he said, a merchant keep a big heaps of grain in their warehouse because there was a problem of rats. So all rats, they have the huge bags of rice and grains, So rats used to come and eat all those things. So what they found a trick. They put puffed rice, a handful of puffed rice at the corner of the room, corner of the warehouse. And the rat come and they eat that puff rice. They did not touch the bag of rice and grains. So, actually, the one little handful of rice can produce huge puffed rice. So, in the small puff rice, the warehouse owner diverted the rats and made his rice and grain safer. So exactly why Sri Ramakrishna gave this example, because those who have this false kind of satisfaction, so what they do, they actually practice some austerities, put some signs on their body, and they renounce the work. If they have little bit progress in the beginning, and they leave everything, and they think out of egoism, they think they are a huge spiritual personality. So this is a kind of God, as it were, gives them a little bit puff rice, satisfy with them. Huge quantity of spirituality is intact. Don't touch that. You satisfy with this kind of small quantity, a little bit puff rice. So that is the story, meaning of the story. Even the Spanish mystic, Saint John of Cross, he also said, in his book, The Ascent of Mount Carmel, while discussing the nature of high mystical experience, he asked in another work that here comes the question, why is it that so few ever attain to this higher state? The reason is that in this marvelous work he said that God himself begins, so many are weak, shrinking from trouble and unwilling to endure the least discomfort or mortification, or to labor with constant patience. These are the causes. Though we are unable to do that. However, now by giving this little idea from Sankhya Karika, that is a book from Sankhya. So from Sankhya, 100 types he gave. Out of that, I just gave you few examples. Now I shall jump into the Patanjali, what Patanjali said. Patanjali actually gave 9 types of problems in meditation. What are the obstacles in meditation? First is the disease. If we don't have the strong body, if we have pain, back pain, knee pain, every joint there is pain, so where our mind will go? Our mind will go towards pain or towards God. So first thing is body. So that's why in spirituality, it is said in some Tantra book, it is said that Deho Devalayam Proktam. So it is a Sanskrit word. Deho Devalayam Proktam. We have to, Deho means body. Body is just like a temple. And we have to take care of this body. Otherwise, if the temple is dirty and not good, so how can God will stay there? So that is, our body is not strong. How can we practice? Spiritual practice is, the strength is necessary, mental strength, is necessary. So if our body is not healthy, it is not possible to practice. That is why Apyayantu mamangani, one verse is there. This hymn, it is a hymn actually. This hymn is to acquire the strength of body. That is the hymn. Before practicing the meditation, we should chant this kind of hymns, so that let my body become strong and I can attain the higher spiritual attainment through this body. The body, Vedantist, they do not give much importance on body, but this body is the means by which we can attain higher spirituality. We must not give too much luxury to this body, but we have to keep this body sufficiently fit so that we can attain through this body to the highest physical, spiritual attainment. So first is Vyadhi. In Sanskrit it is called Vyadhi. So the disease. Yogis believe that disease is caused by an imbalance in the flow of prana. You know, there are three. In the spine is the middle. There are Ida and Pingala. So there are three nerves in the back, and Yogi said that pranayama means regulating the breathing air through those three channels, and ultimately they bring the air into the main spinal channel, which is called Shushumna. So that is the pranayama means. So however, they think that when our body becomes imbalanced, it means that the prana means the energy, the external expression of prana is breathing. So prana means energy. So our energy is not flowing, it is imbalance of energy. That is the suffering of body. That is what yogis think. Second obstacle is lack of fervor and unwillingness in the meditation. So, okay, tamas, okay, today, from tomorrow I shall start with lot of vigor. That tomorrow will never come. That's the problem. So that is unwillingness and lack of fervor. This may be caused by the presence of conflicts in the depths of mind or lack of proper discrimination. And it is because of the tamas. And Saint Augustine, a beautiful saying is there. He said, God has promised forgiveness to your repentance, but He has not promised tomorrow to your procrastination. So, this is the third obstacles is doubt. If we do, is there anything? There are two types of doubts. The first type of doubts is that, suspicion. Is it possible? If we do meditation, can we achieve anything? Okay, so people believe the secular meditation. Yes, meditation is very good for health. We can simply release our stresses. So this is the idea that people have. This is the first, and Gita very clearly says that the ignorant, the faithless, the doubting person is ruined. There is no happiness for him, nor any hope in this world or the next. So those who are suspicious, Gita is very strong against them. The second type of doubt is the questioning. Few people are there, always question. If you say anything, whether they understand or not, whatever may be the matter, they will question something. And most of the questions are not actual question, they are the statement. So few people are like that. This is also a kind of doubt. So doubt are two types. These are obstacles. So these are obstacles in spirituality. So it is based on some fundamental truth. Spiritual life is a quest, a seeking, and without questioning and inquiry, one is likely to follow the wrong path. So, always we have to, in Gita also it is said, Puri Prashnena Seva, you must question, but in the right question. You must ask the right question, not, beating the bush. So this kind of people are there. Regarding the second type of doubt, questioning, Swami Vivekananda says, doubts will arise in the mind about the truth of the science. However, strong one's intellectual conviction may be until certain particular psychic experience come, as hearing or seeing at a distance. So actually some psychic experience will come after some time. It is not in the beginning. So there must be lot of questions in the beginning, but after some time there will be no question. So that is the third. The fourth obstacle is carelessness. In spiritual life, carelessness may be of different types. This carelessness is guarding the senses in reading, in talking, or in choosing one's company can tarnish the pure mind. Most of the impurities of the mind are acquired through carelessness. Carelessness about regularity of meditation leads to the accumulation of dust on the spiritual feet. You know, there is a story, a Vedantic person whose name was Totapuri came to Sri Ramakrishna. And who taught Sri Ramakrishna actually the Vedanta, Vedantic oneness. So, Sri Ramakrishna saw that Totapuri, he used to clean his copper metallic pot every day, and it shines like a gold. So Sri Ramakrishna asked him, you see, your pot is shining like a gold, so why you are cleaning every day? So Totapuri, in typical Hindi language, he said that har din safa rakhna jarurat hai, means every day you have to clean the pot. What does it mean? Sri Ramakrishna got very important teachings out of it. So every day you have to clean your mind. So meditation, every day you have to perform. That is the cleaning of your mind. So every day, if you don't clean one day, there will be a rust. So very careful about that. That is the point. So it is the carelessness. We know that. And St. Francis of Assisi used to say, to an aspirant who is somewhat advanced, carelessness means forgetfulness of one's true self, to remain without self-awareness. And I know that our 13th President Maharaj, Swami Ranganathananda ji, ardent speaker, so very erudite scholar. So Ranganathananda ji used to say, Sri Ramakrishna said, sadhu sabdhan, careful. Sadhu means monks. Monks should be very careful. So this particular word Ranganathananda ji used to translate in this way, sadhu sabdhan. He used to say, sadhu will be aware. Awareness is very important. In spiritual life, this awareness is very important. Where I am, how my mind is working, awareness of ourself. That is self-awareness. This is very important. Actually, this is a kind of connecting ourselves. If you watch yourself every moment, yes, I am X, now I am speaking, now I am going, now I am sitting, now I am talking. What kind of talk I am doing? This awareness. So a third eye is following you always. If you have that, you are following yourself. Yes. This kind of, if we can develop this kind of awareness, this is little bit tricky, and sometimes it gives some kind of problem also. But the point is that this is actually the witness. I know I am speaking. So this kind of watch, if we can just aware of this kind of thing, then that is, we are touching with the self. So this body, this machine, what is doing, somebody is watching that. This awareness is watching that. I am aware, I am doing this. So this kind of thing is very important. It is very important. So that is what he said. Another very important verse in this connection, the Vaishnavas, they said that prosperity is not prosperity, calamity is not calamity. The real calamity is to forget Lord Vishnu, and the real wealth is remembrance of Narayana. So this is the very beautiful verse, Vaishnava verse. This is, so remembrance, we carelessness, okay, chalega. So this is not good in spiritual life. The fifth obstacle to meditation is lethargy. And you know, we are experiencing every day. Okay, today I am tired, tomorrow. So this is and the sixth one, I shall not describe this, what is lethargy. So the sixth point is the clinging to the sense enjoyment. That is also very clear. Okay, today is the Super Bowl. So I am not going to, okay, this is once in a year, so I will be in front of TV. Everything, forget about that. Afterwards, after the program. So that is a kind of, The seventh is another obstacle, is the false spiritual experience, like delusion, hallucination, etc. It is also a kind of, I found a lot of devotees, they have said, yes, I had an experience. I had the awakening of Kundalini. So almost I found most of the people, they said that, yes, I have some kind of awakening, some kind of spirituality, some kind of experience. So this is also kind of, false kind of obstacles, because if I have this kind of egoism or this kind of conviction that I have something, then you cannot progress. So that is the seventh type of thing. And eighth and ninth obstacles in this scheme of Patanjali is the important. There is an inability to get true spiritual experience or to attain a higher plane of consciousness, and the inability to retain the experience. It is also, if you have some experience, if you do not practice, it is very difficult to retain the progress. If we do bad work, we have the result of bad work, karma phala. the theory of karma. If we do good work, we shall get that result also, that fruit also. So we must have that result also. But to retain the good work is one important thing. So if we cannot, that is also obstacle in our spiritual path. So these are the 9 types of obstacles that Patanjali says. What are the root cause of all these obstacles? 1. Ignorance. The Sanskrit word of ignorance is ajnana. So ajnana or ignorance doesn't mean you are unaware of that, you are not knowing that. Ignorance or ajnana, in Vedanta we always read about ajnana, the ignorance. This ignorance means false knowledge, not the absence of knowledge. The ajnana means false knowledge, not the absence of knowledge. So we have obstacles means we have knowledge, but the absence of knowledge. And the final realization means what? Realization means knowledge. How can you experience that? The experience means knowledge. So you have some kind of experience means you have some kind of knowledge, internal knowledge. So whether you are following the path of bhakti, or whether you are following the path of jnana, or whether you are following the path of Raja Yoga, or you are following the path of Karma Yoga, what the yoga you follow, the final realization comes as a knowledge. Even if you follow the path of bhakti, how can you see God? If you see God face to face, that is also the knowledge of God. So whatever comes to us as a knowledge, I have, yes, this table is in front of me. So I have the knowledge of this table. And I have the knowledge that it is in front of me. So everything comes through knowledge. Even the knowledge in other word, vritti. Vritti is the thoughts, modification of mind. So it comes as a vritti. Even if I experience Brahman, I will have the Brahmakara vritti. The difference is here, all the vrittis give birth of another vritti. Because our unconscious samaskaras are there. But the Brahmakara vritti, it do not give birth to another vritti. That is the difference. However, so what is the overcome? So ajnana is the reason for this all kind of obstacles. How can we overcome these obstacles? This is the most important question. We know that the obstacles I referred just now, almost we know all these obstacles. We experienced all these obstacles. But how to overcome those things? If we tackle one by one, it is not possible to overcome all these obstacles. So samaskaras is one of the very important. See, the external obstacles we can remove easily. But the problem is internal obstacles. What are the internal obstacles? The samaskaras is the most important internal obstacles. What are the samaskaras? We know what are the samaskaras. Samaskaras are the sum total of the impressions of our mind. What we did, what we listen, what we talk, what we eat, whatever is there, everything leaves a permanent impression in our unconscious. And the sum total of that impression is called samaskaras. It comes out as a memory sometimes. It comes out as an experience sometimes. So, these are called samaskaras, and these are the main problem. How to deal with that? How to face those problems, overcome those challenges? Will has a tremendous function in our spiritual life. Those who have been attending my lectures and talks, they know what is will in Indian spirituality. So again and again I refer the word will and its function. So will is the dynamic aspect of our self. So what will does? Will in general is connected with our ego, and ego is connected, or egoism is connected with our senses. So if we disconnect the will from ego, it will turn inward. I explained it probably 2 or 3 days, 3 Sundays before this clearly. So, when we disconnect or detach this will from our senses, the will turn inward. Will is the dynamic force of our mind. Let me give you 2 examples of will. In meditation, what we do? We meditate, we concentrate on the object of our meditation. That object of our meditation may be a light, may be a God, may be an object. And when we try to meditate, this object slips away, goes away. And we try to bring that object under our focus. And for that we have to apply the mental force, some kind of mental force. And the mental force that we apply to bring the object of our meditation under our concentration is called will. That is will. Another example of will. Every day or in our mind, some days, we have lot of agendas to do. We have a to-do list. But only few we determine to do. Yes, we shall do it. And with all kind of challenges, we do it. So what is that mental force that initiates us to do these things? That mental force is will. So it is not actually the mental force, it is the dynamic aspect of our soul, spirit. It is directly coming from there. Emotion, feeling, they are coming from mind. But the will is coming from the self directly. So if will, now what happens? Our will is connected with our ego. Ego is connected with the senses. So all our forces are to fulfill our external desires. We do not turn this force inward. If we can detach the will from the ego, which is connected with the senses, if we can detach it, then will just turn inward and it will go inward. So that is the great spirituality. In Katha Upanishad, this particular point has been emphasized. It is said all our senses are outward. We have to turn it inward. So if we can do this, if we disconnect will and connect with this, disconnect it, it will go inward, and then the mental force we find to do the external job, external work, we can get this kind of mental force to explore in our spiritual life within. So that is the way we can overcome the obstacles. The next question you may ask, how can we detach our will? Here comes the function of prayer, worship, tuning your awareness and attitude, reading books. So there are various ways you can transfer it within. You can see the uselessness of the external world. You can just justify yourself. You can pray to God. So how now we are connected with the world? Disconnect it. To disconnect it, you need another object or another means to go inward. And what is that means? Take your God, take your chosen deity, take the analysis, the uselessness of the world, external mundane world. These are useless. Why it is useless? Because it is temporary. Today it is there, tomorrow it will not be there. It takes us to the suffering. If you are connected with that, you want to get that, and that is the suffering, and that will be not permanent. So all these analysis you can take up. God, analysis, then meditation. Withdraw your mind from the external world. Work for any good cause. You will be completely oblivious about the external world. Keep under focus one good thing. All these, and these are the 4 yogas, you see. That is why to withdraw your mind, disconnect your will from the ego, that is why these yoga sets, these are the skills, these are the practices. Either through one or through all the 4. You can disconnect the will from the outward and turn it inside. Every moment, frequently, think about this thing. Do one work. This is a very important practical aspect what Swami Yotishwarananda ji prescribed in the book Meditation and Spiritual Life. He said that after every work, you just close your mind, concentrate, and feel yourself, or offer the fruits of work at the feet of your chosen deity, your chosen Lord. In this way, you can remember 1,000 times your chosen deity and withdrawing yourself from the external world, going inside. It is a practice to going inside. So, this is the thing, and that is why actually in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says the Buddhi Yoga. It is the unseen hand of the divine that lifts the curtain of the covering of the souls. The Buddhi Yoga, Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna explained. This kind of Buddhi, intellect we must have. Through that intellect, we can see the God. And the curtain, the obstruction, the ignorance, the veil of ignorance will be lifted. That is the point. And the knowledge will come. So this is the way to overcome it, in very simplest way. Do you have any question? Quick question. Very, very quick question. Yes.
So, is the suffering external or internal? Is it
Both.
my creation or is it
Both. If you have physical suffering, that is the external. If you have the physical suffering, that is the external suffering. But if you have some existential suffering, that is the internal suffering. I said there are 3 types of suffering, broad head in the beginning. Some suffering is coming from some living beings. Some suffering is unforeseen suffering. And some suffering are within internal, psychological. So all these sufferings are under these 3 categories. Okay. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkham apnuat, sarvastarotu durgani, sarvo bhadrani pashyatu, sarva sadbuddhim apnotu, sarva sarvatra nandatu. Durjana sajjano bhuyat, sajjana shantimapnuat, shantyam bandhebhyo, muktaschanyan vimochayet. May all be happy, may all enjoy good health, may all see happy events, may all be freed from miseries, may all be freed from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bondages. May the freed make others free. May the Supreme Spirit, the presiding deity of all sacred activities, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe feels satisfied. Om peace, peace. Peace be unto you all. We have some announcements. So next 2 Sundays, we do not have any Sunday talk in the morning. Instead, next Saturday, 18th, we have Shivaratri worship here, worship of Lord Shiva at 7 p.m. in this hall, 7 to 9. And there will be songs, different devotional songs on Lord Shiva. So that is on 18th. And the next Sunday, as we have 18th program here, so there will be no Sunday morning lecture on 19th. And then 26th, the following Sunday, we will have Sri Ramakrishna's birthday celebration at 3 p.m. in this hall. So I request you all to join all these events with your family, friends, and acquaintances. As usual, tea and coffee will be served from the Saradananda Hall, which will be followed by Prasad Lanchan.